What's up, guys? In this video I'm gonna share my Turo experience with you guys and also share some of the mistakes that I've made so you guys can avoid them if you guys are thinking about doing Turo or if some of you guys are already doing Turo. Alright, so to start things off, man, in the beginning of my journey, I actually didn't have that much money to start Turo, but I was like trying to get together around 3,000 to 4,000 to buy my first car, which I saw this car, this Nissan Sentra 2014, and it was listed around like 3,900, and then so I lowered the price down to 3,600. So I was able to get this car for 3,600, and this wasn't the worst decision that I could make because this car came with tinted windows, black rims, and a backup camera and Bluetooth. So it was actually pretty good for 3,600, and I got it listed on Turo, and it was making about 400 to 450 a month, which was my worst performing car. But overall, I still think it was a decent car to list on Turo. And then 2 to 3 weeks later, I quickly moved fast. You know what I'm saying? I was moving fast in the beginning of my Turo journey because I actually believed in Turo as a way out to escape the 9 to 5, because my goal was to make about 2K a month, which at my job I was making about 2,000 to 2,500 a month. And so my plan was just to replace that, and so I can lock in and focus on what I want to do, which is trading and YouTube and just like the whole entrepreneur stuff. So that was my goal, and started out with 3,600. Two to 3 weeks later, I was already buying my second car, which was the 2016 Hyundai Accent. Now this car was the best decision I've ever made because this car is still on Turo till today, and it's actually my only car that's active right now, and it's currently making me money. Like, I'm actually in profits with this car. And so for the first year, I was just trying to make my money back from buying the car and fixing the car, which I've already did. And right now, everything that car makes is literally profit because I have no payments to a dealership because I bought it cash. And also the only thing I'm paying for is liability insurance, which is like $70 a month, which is nothing. All right, so a lot of you guys in my comments are saying I should get rid of my cars because they're unreliable and buy reliable cars like Toyotas and Hondas, which I agree with. And that was actually one of my plans to do that, work my way up there, because I started out with some cheap cars and cars that were already depreciated, which means I was just gonna try to make as much as I can from those cars and eventually sell them because the cars were already depreciated. So by the time I make my money and try to sell them, they should have not been depreciated as much. So for example, if I bought the 2016 Hyundai Accent for 3,900, when I go to sell it, I'm trying to sell it for about 3,500 to 3,800. So I'm really not losing that much, and I've already made over like 7K on Turo from that car. So if I go to sell it for like 3K, that's most of my money back from purchasing the car because I bought it depreciated. Okay, now I'm gonna share some of the mistakes to avoid on Turo to save thousands of dollars. You know what I'm saying? So the first one is, do not buy a car that has a salvage title or a car that has more than 130,000 miles on it. You won't be able to list it on Turo. And I've actually made this mistake once, and that's because the dude that was selling the car to me, he told me it was a clean title. I just took his word for it and bought it, and gonna find out it was a salvage title. So you guys want to make sure the title of the car is clean. And when I made that mistake, I quickly sold that car and took like a $600 loss for it. So I bought it for 3,600 and I sold it for 3K like within like the next week because I was just trying to get my money back. But after that, I've never made that mistake again. And the second one is to always have a tracker on your car. And this is because sometimes things happen, people can get arrested, or just your car could get impounded, so you don't have a tracker in your car so you know where your car is at all times. And the third one is to always take pictures before and after your Turo trip. And this is very important because when you file for a claim, if something happens to your car and it gets damaged and you don't have clear photos, like things like that, you can get denied, and you feel me, and you can lose thousands because your car just got wrecked and you won't get nothing from Turo. So recently, about a month ago, my Chrysler 200S was involved in a transmission damage. So I filed a claim and everything's going smooth. So I'm about to get paid out $7,000. But at some time, I did think that I was not going to get paid. And you know what I'm saying, that Turo was going to deny my claim or something. But everything worked out. I ended up going through the Turo process. And it's been almost 2 months now. And I still have not received the payment, but I just did the title work and sent the title over to them. So now I should be getting paid soon. All right, so to be honest, man, I actually had a good experience with Turo. And the only bad experiences I really had was because I had used cars. And if this recent damage claim didn't go as expected it to, of me getting the total loss payment of $7,000, that actually would have been the worst experience for me because so I bought that car for $3,800 and fixed everything up for like $3,200 to make it run good and everything like that. And that was a total of like almost $7K. And so with this car, I kind of broke even because on Turo I made like $7K with this car, and then Turo is paying me out $7K for the car for the total loss. So that's the profit of $7K, you feel me? So this car actually was a win. Now this car was my third car for Turo, and when I bought it, I saw it listed on OfferUp for $4,800, and I was talking to the dude, and he told me if I buy it the next day, he can give it to me for $3,800. So man, I jumped on that deal right away because this was a drop top with only 96,000 miles, and it was going to be a big steal. In the back of my head, I was already knowing that this car was going to have issues, but it was a risk that I was willing to take because I wasn't going to get a deal like this ever again, you feel me? So I jumped on that deal, man. I was like, it was a 200S with like, the seats were nice, AC was working, everything was good on this car. And then once I bought it the next day, the check engine light came on, and it had like some transmission issue and other issues. At that time, I didn't really know much about cars, you feel me? I just took it in. They told me all this is wrong with it, and I was like, okay, bet, just get everything fixed up. Got everything fixed up for about like $3,200, and then from there got it listed on Turo. And this car was doing great off the jump, man. I was making like $500 to $800 a month on this car as well, but on average about $600 to $700. And around spring and fall was like the busiest time for this car because it's a drop top. When the temperatures cool down, it was getting rented out a lot, and I had a lot of bookings. And when it got damaged, like I missed out on a lot of money. And then, but a month later, Turo emailed me back saying that it was a total loss and they're gonna pay me out $7K, which now I'm actually grateful for that because this $7K could end up saving my Turo business, like I was saying in my last video. All right, so my Turo experience overall, I would say was good. Turo customer support, thumbs up to them, man. They actually do a pretty good job, I think so. There's a couple times where, you know what I'm saying, a guest wouldn't respond back to me. They would bring my cars like late or bring it back the next day. Turo reimbursed me for, you know what I'm saying, for that. They would charge the guest a late fee. And there's also been a couple times where a guest would bring my car back with no gas. Turo would reimburse me with that like right away. So overall, man, Turo, I think the Turo support does good. Now the guests on Turo, I would say they're bad drivers, and what else? They're bad drivers for sure, and they just don't give a damn about your car, man. Like, they're gonna drive it all types of crazy. There's a few I'm not gonna lie, there are a few guests that are super good, that's gonna take well care of your car like it's their own car, and also bring back the car, full tank of gas, and washed up and everything like that. And usually when I get a guest like that, I give them a discount the next time they rent with me. So the next time they rent with me and stuff like that, I try to bring them back to rent with me again, because getting guests like that is kind of rare. So I just always give them a discount so they'll rent with me again. Alright, so my Turo experience as a host wasn't too bad. So I'm going to share with y'all what went wrong. And what went wrong was that, man, I was buying way too many used cars and unreliable cars just too fast. Like, I started out with one car and was already at like 5 cars with less than a year, you feel me? So, and I just didn't have the capital to be doing all that. I should have just reinvested into the 3 cars that I had, but instead I just kept buying used cars, and then when they broke down, I just didn't have the capital to get them fixed up. I am happy though that not all my cars were losses. 2 of them ended up being profitable, and then 3 of them ended up being losses. But I am gonna end up taking a complete loss on one car, which is the Hyundai Sonata 2015. I'm gonna get rid of that car. I'm gonna sell it. And then my other 2 cars, the Ford Fiesta and the Nissan, I'm gonna get those 2 fixed up and then put it back on Turo and try to at least break even and sell them, you know what I'm saying? And I do want to buy more reliable cars like a Toyota or a Honda, but those cars are kind of expensive. I was looking into them, they're like 7K to like 13K, and at that time I just didn't have that type of money. But from now on, I'm gonna start saving up to buy a Toyota Camry or a Honda Civic or something like that. Alright, so I'm gonna share with you guys the one car I'm gonna keep like for the longest, and I'm not gonna sell it anytime soon. It's the Hyundai Accent 2016. That car, man, was super cheap to buy. I bought it for $3,900, and it's super cheap to fix, you know what I'm saying? I've already did the alternator and the belt. If you guys see my recent video, man, that car is just doing super good, and I'm like in crazy profits with that car. And right now it's currently on a trip, and the lady extended her trip, and I'm making like 300 and something bucks. I'm gonna show y'all my earnings on that car. Alright guys, so this is the trip that my car is on currently, and so the lady extended it, and now it's gonna be a total of 17 days, and the total came out to $580, and then she got a discount on non-refundable discount for 58 bucks, and then 2-week discount 116 bucks, and I earned $324 17 days on this red car, Hyundai Accent. Not bad at all. And then I have another trip coming up like next month, but yeah, I'm gonna keep you guys updated.